Let's be honest, when you hear the term internal review, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably a ton of paperwork, endless meetings, and maybe just a little bit of dread. But what if we flipped that script? What if we saw it not as a chore, but as one of the most important health checks a company can perform? Let's get into it. A business can look fantastic from the outside. Sales are up, customers seem happy. But just like our own health, you never know what's really going on under the surface without a proper checkup. So the big question is, how can you be sure your company is truly healthy from the inside out? And this is really the best way to think about it. These reviews are the corporate equivalent of an annual physical. It's how you methodically look under the hood, check all the vital signs, and make absolutely sure that everything is running the way it's supposed to. It's all about being proactive, not just putting out fires. Okay, so you wouldn't just walk into a doctor's office and say, check everything, right? A good examination starts with a solid plan. You need a foundation. You need to know what you're looking for and how you're going to measure it. It's the exact same thing for a business review. So it all starts with setting some ground rules. First up is governance. That's just a fancy way of figuring out the why and the who. Who's in charge here and what are the rules of the game? Then you've got scoping and planning, which is where you decide exactly what you're going to look at. And finally, benchmarking. This is how we figure out what good even looks like in the first place. Let's zoom in on that last one for a sec. Benchmarking is basically like your doctor, comparing your test results to the established medical standards. It gives you crucial context. It helps you answer the question, are we just getting by, or are we actually performing like the best in the business? All right, our plan is locked in. Now it's time for the examination itself. We're about to check the company's vital signs, those day-to-day operations that are the real heartbeat of the business. And this is where we get hands-on. We're not just reading reports from a distance. We're doing things like process walkthroughs, where we follow a task from beginning to end. We're running QA reviews to check the quality of the actual work. We even do spot audits, those quick random checks to make sure people are following the right procedures. It's like checking the company's reflexes and listening to its breathing. I love this quote because it just nails the concept. A process walkthrough isn't about reading the instruction manual. It's about being right there on the floor, seeing the work happen in real time. By shadowing a process from start to finish, you can spot those tiny inefficiencies or risks that would never, ever show up on a spreadsheet. Of course, a company's health today is about more than just its physical operations. There are two other massive systems that need a checkup: the technology and the finances. Think of them as the company's central nervous system and its bloodstream. This is all about checking the company's digital and financial immune system. User access reviews make sure only the right people have the keys to the kingdom. System configuration reviews check that our software is set up properly and securely. And then things like expense audits and contract reviews, they make sure the money is flowing where it's supposed to and only where it's supposed to. And this is so important when you're launching something new like a big software project. You've got two critical checkpoints. The pre-implementation review is that final checkup before you go live, asking, are we really truly ready for this? Then the post-implementation review happens afterwards, and it asks, did this actually work the way we planned? You need both to really learn and get better. Okay, the checkup is over. We've run all the tests. We've analyzed the results. But listen, a diagnosis is pretty useless without a treatment plan, right? This final part is all about turning what we've found into real, meaningful action. This is the moment of truth. You've found a problem. For some, that might feel like a failure, but really, it's a huge opportunity. The real test isn't finding the issue, it's what you do next. A healthy company has a clear answer to that question. And here is that answer. It's a clear, logical path forward. First, you track the issue so it doesn't get lost. Then, you do a gap analysis, which is just a way of saying, okay, where are we now and where do we need to be? Next, you validate the action plan to make sure the fix is actually going to work. And finally, and this is so important, you communicate the findings to everyone who needs to know. And this is what that progress looks like, visually. A simple dashboard like this gives everyone, especially leaders, a quick, high-level view of the company's health. You can see at a glance how many issues were flagged, and more importantly, how many have actually been fixed. It turns all that data into a simple story of improvement. And that really brings us to the biggest takeaway here. This annual checkup, it's not just a one-and-done thing. Every review, every finding, every action plan, It all helps build a stronger, more resilient company. The real goal isn't just to play gotcha and find mistakes. It's to build a culture where getting better, day by day, is just part of the DNA. So, as we wrap this up, I want you to think about your own team, your own workplace. All of these different types of reviews, from process walkthroughs to tech audits, they're all designed for one thing: to build a fundamentally healthier company. So, that leaves me with one final question for you. What's the one health check that your team could benefit from the most?